COVID-19 leads to emergency ward not functioning. Process needs to be clarified, says Namah. And Netball champions go rural. Welcome, I'm Shamin Poriambep and this is Sunday's News. As the nation's capital continued to record an increase in COVID-19 cases, with 7 positive cases recorded just yesterday, another looming disaster is taking place at the National Referral Hospital. Port Moresby General Hospital Emergency Ward is currently under immense stress as COVID-19 tests take place within the emergency ward. Nurses refusing to work in the emergency ward as they find the current COVID-19 protocols ineffective as frontline workers continue to test positive for COVID-19.
The Port Moresby General Hospital is currently in chaos. While PomGen management will not admit it, eyewitness reports have confirmed that doctors and nurses are refusing to attend to emergency cases until the individual is tested for COVID-19. The COVID-19 test taking up to a day or 2 before treatment is provided. EMTV News now learning that for some emergency cases, this is leading to their deaths. In a leaked letter addressed to Port Moresby General CEO and management, nurses at the emergency department stated that COVID-19 protocols in place at the emergency department was non-effective. MTV understands that emergency department staff are not in full PPE equipment and only those carrying testing on COVID-19 are in full PPE attire. The uncertainty of not knowing who has COVID-19 leading to nurses and doctors to be fully exposed to the virus and other patients in the emergency ward. Meanwhile, PomGen in a social media post has responded to the nurses' leaked document stating that Port Moresby General Hospital Chief Executive Officer Dr. Paki Molumi and the Acting Director for Medical Services met with the emergency department doctors and nurses at 7:30 a.m. this morning to get all staff together as a team to face the challenges after 2 of their staff members tested positive for COVID-19 while treating their sick patient who was also positive for COVID-19. Molumi further challenged the ED staff not to be swayed by COVID-19 as the normal non-COVID emergencies will kill more patients. MTV News has requested for a response from Acting Secretary and Deputy Controller Dr. Paisin Dakalala on the current situation at Port Moresby General Hospital and is still awaiting a response. Adelaide Sirokskari, National, MTV News.
All provinces and districts without committees of the National Procurement Commission are warned not to do procurement of goods and services. Chief Executive Officer of the NPC, Simon Bolles, said this following a circular instruction issued by the Commission to all provincial administrators, district CEOs and district administrators last week. Mr. Simon Bolles further added the district committee has a threshold limit of 2.5 million kina and provinces has a threshold limit of 5 million kina to do procurement. He said penalty for offences committed by individual patches at penalty of fine not exceeding 2 million kina and a prison term not exceeding 15 years. A mediation process involving all parties in the court matter regarding the extension of the special mining lease for Barrick New Guinea Limited will commence tomorrow in Port Moresby. The mediation was ordered by the Waigani National Court after a previous decision by the same court directing all parties to meet and discuss their grievances was not fruitful. Last Friday, when the matter went before the court, it was decided that the 9 parties will share the mediation fee of 2,007 kina by paying a sum of 223 kina each.
The 9 parties involved in this matter include the Mineral Resources Enga Limited, the PNG Government, Mineral Resources Authority and Barrick New Guinea Limited. The mediation will be chaired by Deputy Chief Justice Ambeng Kandakasi and is expected to include discussions on the NEC's decision to not extend Barrick's SML, legacy issues including environmental damages, and the government's position on the future of Porgera mine. By way of background, Barrick's SML expired in August 2019. In April 2020, Prime Minister James Marape announced that the national government will not renew the SML. Barrick then took the matter to court in the hope that its special mining lease will be extended. However, since April, both the plaintiff and the defendants have not come to an agreement. Thus, a mediation has been ordered by the courts as a way forward. Since the closure of Porgera in April, close to 3,000 employees were laid off, 200 entrepreneurs forced to close, and contractors recorded a loss of over 140 million kina in the first 2 months of the shutdown. Barrick says PNG government is losing over 68 million kina in tax revenue per month, while the Enga provincial government loses 5.4 million kina per month during the closure of the mine. However, Prime Minister James Marape has maintained that his government will not back away from the initial decision to seize Barrick's SML for Porgera. And the Prime Minister says the government is doing all it can to reopen the mine. Thekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
The opposition leader's Supreme Court application seeking interpretation on the process involved in electing Prime Minister James Marape is set for directions hearing on the 10th of August. Opposition leader Belden Namah refiled the application after the National Court uplifted his suspension as the opposition leader and member for Vanimo Green. The opposition leader Belden Namah refiled the application seeking the court's interpretation on 8 different sections of the Constitution that allows for the election of the Prime Minister. Belden Namah believes that the process involved in electing the Prime Minister James Marape was unconstitutional. The application filed seeks interpretation on sections 11, 50, 108, 114, 133, 134, 142 and 1582 of the Constitution. In a media conference, Namah highlighted Section 114 of the Constitution that allows for voting in Parliament. Section 1141 states all questions before a meeting of the Parliament shall be decided in accordance with the majority of the votes of members present and voting. On 30th May 2019, James Marape, Semekere Morauta and Peter O'Neill were nominated for the Prime Minister's seat. They all accepted the nominations and the Speaker of Parliament, Job Pomat, closed the nominations. But just before voting, Peter O'Neill withdrew.
So his withdrawal of his nomination should seek approval by way of voting in Parliament to say whether they accept his nomination withdrawal or they reject his nomination, his acceptance of the nomination. And neither him nor the Speaker had unilateral powers to withdraw that nomination. So that ends my court challenge on the constitutionality of the election of James Marape as Prime Minister.
If this Supreme Court application is successful, the opposition leader is seeking a declaration that the election of James Marape as the Prime Minister on the 30th of May 2019 was unconstitutional and his appointment to the office of the Prime Minister was invalid, ineffective and void. B, a declaration that the office of the Prime Minister is currently vacant. And C, an order that the Speaker convene Parliament as soon as practicable for the purpose of deciding on the appointment of its members to the office of the Prime Minister.
I will do my best as the leader of the opposition, as I have always done, to be the voice of the silent majority and to ensure that the government is kept in check and accountable to the people of this country. And that is my job as the leader of the opposition.
Whichever way the case goes, it sets precedents on how future elections of the Prime Minister are conducted in the country.
My job now is to make sure that, to ensure that the precedence is set for future governments, future elections, in the event where there are 3 nominations. So I've successfully filed as Honorable Belden Norman Namah, member for Vanimo Green River and leader of the opposition.
Directions hearing for this application is confirmed for the 10th of August 2020. Meanwhile, Prime Minister James Marape has ordered an investigation into the alleged assault of the person who went to serve him these court files at the Manasupe House.
The United Church.
This is National EMTV News. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Correctional Service Commissioner Stephen Pokanis has agreed to the request of having low-risk detainees move into Hawa Correctional Institution from other Highlands Correctional Institutions. This announcement was made at the meeting between Hela Administration and Correctional Service recently. Provincial Administrator William Bando is optimistic that Hawa CIS facility will be reopened before the end of this year. Bando also assured Commissioner Pokanis of the continued support of the Hela Provincial Administration in supporting the Hawa facility. The Hawa prison has been closed for more than 20 years. The sealing of roads in Barrick town has commenced. The Barrick District Development Authority believes good roads will boost economic activities in the district.
The road sealing started on Saturday at the Wex Junction to the AOG Church and to Amaku. Residents of Barrick town are very happy with this development. Longtime resident Rosa Uri from Yanguru said she moved to Barrick in the 80s and this part of the road hasn't seen any good development. She said the roads have been so hazardous because of the dust, but they had become accustomed to it.
Roti bagarap long time ago said take a dust, and now this road now they put him all times up and flower mask.
Barrick Urban Ward 1 Councillor Gideon Parry, who is also one of the residents directly affected by the dust, was overwhelmed with the development.
Acknowledgement to Barrick District Administration, particularly CEO Mr. Himina and Chairman MDDA, Honorable John Simon, for allocation of funds for the construction of this road. Right now we feel relief on dust especially. I will talk on the community. We'll make our part to beautify this place to complement these new tars and footpath.
The road upgrade is part of the Barrick District Development Authority's road development program, which will see all roads in the town sealed. 480,000 kina has been allocated for this first phase of the project. Barrick MP and Minister for Agriculture John Simon said Barrick town has become a central business hub not only for Barrick people but for other people in neighboring districts including Ambunti, Drekiki, Yanguru Sausia and Nuku. He said it is only appropriate that Barrick town be given a facelift to cater for this growing business center. The Barrick MP said there will be more developments on roads throughout the district. This will also open up links for further boost in agriculture activities.
Locals along the Simbu section of the highway want the road to be fixed quickly. A local told EMTV News the road needs attention and must be properly upgraded as a national highway. Meanwhile, the local contractor says road work slowed down following the COVID-19 threat in the country.
The Simbu section of the Okuk Highway remains a challenging task as levels of government make efforts to upgrade and maintain the road. A local says communities along the highway have remained optimistic for authorities to fix the road. He says there is so much funding talked about, but no proper work is done.
Money company government by the money na jamna all work ya so work mi bla em close to barawagi em close to ya na coordinate tamblo na em waingar ya wogi no go semlo mingeri na gol kada ground portals number leni all gaman machine go na straight na work na all wogi gam all no prishim.
A local contractor says work progressed well until the COVID-19 threat. He says though work was affected, authorities are back on the go to fix and maintain the road. However, challenges remain.
Once all uplift him, so thank you. Now work and go back normal. Progress and go as you can look him now. Work and speed up. So time frame low. Work now lowest 3 years, 7 months or so and stop it.
It's a mammoth task for the local contractor, who is very positive to maintain this part of a national highway that links 4 other highlands provinces and the Momase region. It has taken over 3 years to fix this part of the highway. Locals say communities are supportive with a 20-meter distance from the national corridor.
Crossfied national highway na road government na mipla lugat natin lo sila side igam na 20 meters. Now all come talk na all defense na all police one all work igam na all ask him mipla na mipla begim to sen na se mol road em bagrat na all by straight na all come na migim na mipla alarm all work.
The Simbu section of the highway has been a problem because of the waterlog lying beneath the road's surface. Jack Lopava Jr., National EMTV News.
A newly established school in Simbu province is in need of government support to upgrade its facilities and enroll more students, with their aim to introduce better learning standards for students to be competitive. They are using the little they have to teach children on basic phonics and Christian values and principles. Wara Simbu International Phonics School teacher in charge says so far they have not received support from concerned authorities in the district.
Wara Simbu International Phonics School is the newly established school serving the children of Wara Simbu and neighboring communities in Kundiawa Gambok district. Being the newly established school in the area, they are using small makeshift classrooms, and with little resources, they are doing their best to help the children.
So my classes, I've taken kindergartens, 3 to 5 years, reading and readiness, preparatory, grade 1s, grade 2s and grade 3s. Grade 3 and primary level.
The school was established last year with over 100 students and 3 volunteer teachers. The school's curriculum structure includes early childhood education, play school, daycare, and they have integrated standard-based curriculum. And with a full board of management in place, their aim is to introduce better learning opportunities for students to be competitive.
The vision of the school is to develop the students in line with the international human resource or international schools in other schools. Some of the missions of the school in line with the PNG education reform, integrated international curriculum with the standards-based education curriculum to develop students to be competent and upright citizens with the value Christian beliefs and moral ethics.
However, the challenges are basic education facilities to support the children's learning. According to the teacher in charge, teachers have shown interest in the school. However, there are no funding to support the teachers, and their attempt to get support from district authorities was unsuccessful.
We are going to help you with some funds, so they give me some requirements that I must meet. I made that requirement and I brought a submission into the office of the Kundia Gambok. I have submitted a proposal in there with a 100,000 building submission, but they did not come around to help.
But despite these challenges, there are some success stories. According to the teacher in charge, students who graduated from their school can continue on to do grade 5 or 6 in primary schools.
As of last year, 2019, I've graduated the 3 grade 3s to grade 5 and 1 to grade 6. So I've graduated a total of 5 students as of last year, and 1 to grade 6 and 3 to grade 5. From grade 3, I'm jumping them. So I have faith and confidence that I'm producing quality out of quantity.
With this success story, they are confident the school has the potential of producing quality students, and they are calling on responsible authorities for support. Rayon Lakingu, National EMTV News.
When we return, we bring you the third episode of our three-part series into domestic violence on a closer look. Welcome back to the news. A push for stronger enforcement on the law surrounding the punishment of perpetrators of abuse is now being made. And the impact of social media in spreading this message is reaching new height. Tonight, we cap off our final part of a three-part series on gender-based and domestic violence.
That complexity raised of gender-based violence demands a holistic approach. It isn't just closure for the victims or their families, but the rights of others to be protected as well. Morally and legally, questions have been pushed, and a stand is now being taken. PNG Man Up, the advocacy group in a recent event hosted by FinCorp employees, have vowed to work together to take a proactive stance.
My challenge is to all of the other organisations out there that should be contacting Man Up and also committing to taking the pledge. If we can do it, everybody can do it.
FinCorp's Chief Asset Management Officer Adam Hughes, who is part of the group that founded PNG Man Up, made a call to other organisations to join the cause, take the pledge and stand up for change in the laws. And former Chief Migration Officer Solomon Kantha, who is the chairman of Man Up, is one of those pushing for tougher penalties for GBV offenders.
It's time that men in every sectors in our economy, in our country, in businesses, in government departments, take a stand against domestic violence, because gender-based violence is always seen as a women's issue. It's time that we men stand up together, step up, and take action, not only in the workplace, but in our homes as well, to protect our women and girls, or to treat our women and girls the way we should treat them.
And the PNG Women's Law Society is working on reviewing the 2016 to 2025 Papua New Guinea to prevent and respond to gender-based violence policy, which incidentally has already been endorsed by the National Executive Council. Both co-vice presidents of the association, in a meeting with EMTV, said work on providing better access to help is now being done. Avia Koisen says that laws are in existence to cater for cases of abuse. What needs to be strengthened is its enforcement.
We've all been given a copy of this GBV strategy, and we've all gone through it, and it's all there.
Yeah, there's an ecosystem.
There's a system that's already created since 1975, since independence up until now. What we need to do is strengthen it and make it work. You've got CEDAW, you've got the National Goals and Directive Principles under the Constitution, you've got supporting legislation, you've got policies such as PNG Vision 2050, and then the Long-Term Development Plan, which all support gender equality. And then you've got GESI. And then you've got the youth policy, you've got the health policy, you've got the gender equity policy in education itself, which is supposed to support the upbuilding of strengthening gender equality. But it seems like everything has not been connected. They're all it's
in silos.
It's in silos. You've got policies there, you've got legislation, you've got government initiatives, you've got the international conventions, but no one has put them together. All together.
And that's part of what we need to do.
That's what we need to do.
That sentiment supported wholeheartedly by her co-president Diane Aikung.
We need evidence-based conversations and evidence-based intervention. Everybody knows that GBV is it's a national concern. And it's fast decaying, our society. So what do we need to do? But we need evidence-based conversations and intervention.
There is also hope that PNG Women's Law Society can be able to partner with civil associations to finally petition legislators to make changes and amendments.
The strength of the civil society organizations that are now currently doing this is that they coexist, that they support each other, and there should be that network should be strengthened, because right now I think it's isolated. That's why, as you said, when a woman goes into House Ruth down at Ella Beach, she's not able to get any help otherwise from legal services. Why? There's a disconnect. Maybe there's no connect between the Family Sexual Violence Unit and House Ruth.
On my way here, a friend from UNDP called and said, this is a major concern. We need the GBV Secretariat up and running. Well, the Women's Support Secretariat. We need budgetary allocation for it from government. That hasn't even started yet. And they also need to review the policy itself to see what will work and what won't work, or what has worked and is working. But for us as an association, we've also discussed legal aid as a short-term initiative that we can get started.
And individuals have also taken their initiative to address the issue of domestic and gender-based violence. Photographer Trevor Mullen, a relative newbie in the field, recently released confronting images that also had high traction. Simple yet powerful. Trevor Mullen's images on the aftermath of gender-based and domestic violence, sending a far-reaching message to the masses. The photographer doing his part to raise awareness on the issue after myriad reports in mainstream media.
We wanted to spread the awareness on gender-based violence. We wanted to tell people that it's real, it's here, these are the realities of it. And that piece that Leilani did, it was able to tell that story well. From a victim's perspective.
The issue of gender-based and domestic violence is slowly being addressed in various sectors of the society, reaching as high as the Prime Minister's office.
Gender-based violence, I know it's sensitive out there. We have enough laws to go to the moon and come back. In violence, in murder, in abuses.
NGOs, corporate bodies, as well as government and private businesses, all publicly declaring their support for the protection of people against being abused.
The statistics say 2 out of 3 women will experience family sexual violence, which equates to, according to my rough calculations, 2.3 million women in Papua New Guinea. So I guess why we started was 2.3 million men in our minds needed assistance to empower themselves and to overcome family sexual violence so that they can stop perpetrating. That's the crux of why we started. I think fundamentally when you go into any GBV or family sexual violence training, at the center of any kind of violence is a desire to control another person or persons. Underlying that, which may not be talked about a lot, is why would someone try and control someone? It's because of fear. That's the emotion that's actually triggering off the desire to control. Because when you're scared, and most people, when we are faced with situations, whether they're relationships or external situations, where we feel we are unable to control that particular environment or circumstance, we resort to anything that we can to try and control it, whether it's verbal abuse or in some instances physical violence.
If anything, raising the issue over and over again in the hopes of finally instilling some sense of responsibility is the target across the board. That education of the young is an important facet in addressing this dangerous trend.
Trukai Sports is next. Don't go away.
Trukai Sports. Good night and welcome to Trukai Sports. The new Manubada Volleyball Association is poised at changing the whole concept of running a volleyball competition. Yes, they want to have talented volleyball players competitive in national championships, but they also want to help improve the lives of players who want to gain more apart from just playing the sport. The newest volleyball competition to hit the Taurama Aquatic Center courts actually comes from the very hub of profound volleyball enthusiasts in the city, Vabukori Village, a village where the locals lay claim to countless volleyball championships, but this is a new association.
Change the name from Vabukori Volleyball Association to Manubada Volleyball Association. We've done that, registered, done all of that. Now we're looking at implementing our 5-year business plan. We've got a 5-year business plan. We want to thank Dataco, who's our platinum sponsor, who've come very good with us. I think it's Dataco that has made this possible. We really thank God for them.
Powered by Dataco PNG, the High Flyers of Manubada have 8 teams to contend with men's, women's and junior divisions as well. Most of the players had to earn their new sets of shoes and uniforms.
8 teams. So there's 2 others that are still on the, still on the fringes. They will come back to us within these the 2 weeks.
But this ambitious competition is aiming high.
We're slowly trying to go semi-professional and then slowly move into professionalizing the association.
With the dream of a professional competition, they have a board in place rooted with the values of Christianity. They also want more for their players, a take-home pay, so to say, for their performance on the court, with 4 key areas of focus for their players.
One of the programs that we're trying to achieve through that is by providing literacy training. We'll engage within the association those who've got experiences in that, or either that or we'll go outside. The other thing that we're trying to do is the academic qualification improvement programs. Currently we have, we really thank ITA for the sponsorship last year. We had 3 boys doing scholarship with 3,800 kina each. As an association, we're trying to create a pool of skills and talent where we can write to business houses and ask them if they can employ our boys. The 4th and the final thing that which we're trying to do is also introduce a business entrepreneurship.
With their holistic approach to sports, the board and management of the competition want their players to bring back home something from their time spent on the courts.
The talent and the skills that you display should translate to something that is tangible, so they can take back home to their families, so their families can benefit, and we all want to have a good life, and also we can all sustain ourselves.
A village in the Rigo district of Central Province has taken the initiative to bring in development into their area. Galomarubu locals did not wait on their government for handouts. Instead, from their own pockets, built a brand new netball court.
Galomarubu village in the Rigo district of Central Province saw the opening of a brand new netball court, all funded by the locals. The new court was officially opened by the governor of Central Province.
Aloma Netball Court and soccer field open for business.
In what is regarded a story that started from the inspiration of winning, the governor commended the efforts of the Visigo Netball president, who put in the hard yards to see the completion of the sporting facility, all at their own costs and expenses.
I'm impressed, and there's a family here that took the lead in this and organized the community to move with it, And guess what? The government came in. The government caught up with it and followed it through, you see. So this is the type of partnership we encourage in our communities, It's not for a fat politician like me to carry a big bag of money and come and give money. You see, the idea is to empower our communities, our people at the communities, where they can do these type of things.
Galomarubu village, through the Visigo Netball Association, represented Rigo district in the Netball PNG national titles in Goroka last year, in which they came out overall champions. Driven by this victory, local President Tracy Killa and the champion in the construction and completion of the project has shown a ray of hope for the future of netball in the Bugle Bay area.
The association started in 2016
And there was once a grand final that we hosted. As a president, I hosted one in 2016, and we were funded with 4,000. We were given 4,000, and I did not use that 4,000. I kept it for 4 years now. Just contributed, got some sponsors in, and that is how we built a netball court now.
Kilawani, Trukai Sports.
And Trukai Sports continues with AFL, NRL and football after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. To sports abroad, we have AFL and NRL news first. First up in AFL, St Kilda has moved to the third position after beating Port Adelaide. The match was in the balance heading into the final quarter.
With the Saints up by just 1 point, they kicked the only 5 goals of the last term to clinch victory. The loss was just Port Adelaide's second for the season. Earlier, the Swans broke a 4-game losing streak by beating Hawthorn by 7 points. Tom Papley was a standout for the Swans, booting 4 goals. And North Melbourne lost its 6th game in a row, going down to Carlton by 7 points.
Yeah, for us it's about consistency. I thought our work around the stoppages and the contest was really pleasing. Ryder really set the scene, and to have those 2 boys come across here and come to our football club and then come back to here and play against their old team and play so well was it was very pleasing for them. We're not talking finals. We haven't played finals for such a long time. So what we need to do is take that as a bit of a blueprint of what we're capable of, and that's the challenge for any team.
Canberra continues to impress in the NRL despite an ever-growing injury list. The Raiders once again lifted despite the absence of some of their big names to beat South Sydney 18-12. The Raiders added Charles Nickel-Clockstad to their injury ward with a finger dislocation, but still managed to fight back from a 2-point halftime deficit to move up to 5th on the ladder. Earlier, a controversial bunker decision helped the Sharks to a 28-24 win over the Dragons. The Dragons appeared to ground the ball first, but the bunker awarded the early try to the Sharks, a decision the NRL has since said they got wrong. Cronulla eventually held off a fast-finishing St George Illawarra side to win by 4.
Pretty clear, right? So how do they keep getting it wrong, and who's accountable for it? Because it's a stuff-up, but in the end, there's a difference. I think the person that's probably watching this should, and all you guys should make enough song and dance and do something about it, because it's not good enough.
Sydney FC have won the A-League Premier's Plate for a record 4th time. The Sky Blues claimed the regular season award for the 3rd time in 4 seasons after their closest challengers, the Wellington Phoenix, were held to a 1-1 draw by Adelaide United. The Phoenix levelled the score in the second half and then had a penalty in the dying minutes to win the game, but couldn't capitalise on the opportunity. Also, Western United boosted their finals chances by beating rivals Melbourne Victory for the 3rd time this season. After taking the lead in the first half, Max Burgess doubled his side's advantage in the 57th minute. United are now just 1 point behind Adelaide with 2 games in hand.
And that story ends Trukai Sports. The weather forecast for the next 24 hours when we come back.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
Weather forecast for the next 24 hours in the southern region. Port Moresby, partly sunny and fine. Daru, fine, partly cloudy, moderate southeast winds. Kerama, mostly fine, partly cloudy. Alotau, partly cloudy with a few showers. And Popondetta, a few showers, light southeast winds. In Momase, Ley, partly cloudy with a few showers. Madang, cloudy with a few thundery rain showers. In Wewak, occasional thundery rain showers. And Vanimo, thundery rain showers easing. In the New Guinea Islands, Lorengau, cloudy with thundery rain showers at times. In Kavieng, a few showers. Kokopo and Rabaul, fine, partly cloudy. Kimbe, a few showers. And Buka, a shower or two. And in the Highlands region, in Mount Hagen, chance of rain showers. Mendi and Wabe, cloudy with evening rain drizzles. Goroka and Kundiawa, a few showers, drizzles.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that's the news, sports and weather for Sunday, 26th of July 2020. From all of us here at EMTV, pleasant viewing. Bye for now.